Hey, this is Brad, your admin from the Hairstylist Cruise. I'm here with an exciting guest, Nadine Donovan. So Nadine is a wonderful, amazing educator. She does the Brides and Braids Boot Camp as well as the Vintage Vault. And here I have Nadine right now. So Nadine, tell me a little bit about your background. But first, I just want to say welcome. I'm so excited that you're on the 2016 Hairstylist Cruise, 2016 Color Day, and the 2017 cruise to the Virgin Islands. Like, this is totally amazing. You know what I mean? So tell us a little bit about your background and your passion for the industry.
Well, thank you very much for that exciting introduction, Brad. I really appreciate it, and I'm very excited to be part of the Hairstylist Cruise this year, including Color Day and the Hairstylist Cruise in 2017. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that it's a perfect platform for a lot of people to get a lot of bulk education cramped in a very small space of time, as well as having a lot of fun. Like we have the reputation of being the party type people as hairdressers, as well as knuckle down and learn a lot of very great, a lot of great things to do with the industry. Your question about my background is I grew up in a little town called Corowa. There was 1,500 people, and I did my apprenticeship there as a young girl. It's a longer story than that, but I wasn't really one. I'm not one of those girls who used to do hair when I was 3 years old and all that kind of thing. I was a team sports person. I was right into sport and exercise, and I was waiting for one of my netball, like a bit like basketball kind of events for a Saturday. So I wandered in, and I was actually going into a salon because my mum forced me to go in to get a haircut because my fringe was in my eye. And, and so I walked in, and I just watched these girls and guys in the salon, just the things they were doing with hair. And it wasn't just, that's when I realised the difference between getting it cut to see and getting a style cut for fashion. It clicked with me, and I was 16, maybe 15, and then I just started working there part-time. The lady came over and said, "We'll get to you soon, but we're very busy. Would you like to sweep the floor?" And I picked up that broom, and I was like Scrappy Coco off. There was not a single hair on the floor. And you know what they say, the new broom sweeps well. And that rang in my head, and I didn't want to be seen as that person that only did well at the very beginning. I wanted to, I'm a bit of an overachiever when it comes to sports. I love team sports, as I mentioned. So the feeling of being welcome in the salon there as a team really went well for me. And I've only ever had work jobs where the team connected really well. And in this industry, it's a tough thing because when that little group is not quite right, you either need to move on or find where you fit. And that's what I'm finding. So apart from that, my passion for the industry has been reignited again. It's always been on fire, but it has been reignited again since moving to the States in January. I have a salon in Melbourne, in Australia, and back when I very first started my salon, like 12, maybe 14 years ago now, I just enjoyed the industry so much, all aspects of hairdressing. I was doing weddings and photo shoots and working on some major productions and bits and pieces. And I'm not interested in name dropping what I've done, but because this is just a short interview, but I've always enjoyed the work and sharing what I've picked up over the years. So a lot of what I teach is a little bit of everything that sort of happened along the way that I've collected, and then I think developed into my own kind of style, and that's still evolving today. So I can't really say that I'm one way or another. I have an appreciation for all the aspects of hairdressing and barbering.
Yes, I mean, definitely we can see your passion and you are on fire. And I've mentioned this before because I've messaged you and said that you're always constantly raising the bar. And I mean, everybody, I think almost everybody, if they don't know you, they soon will. But if they do know you, they absolutely love Nadine. They love the work you do. They love taking your class. They can't get enough of you. I think if they could take it 5 times in a row, and they would, and probably they have. But the great thing with your class is you never teach the same thing over and over and over. And yes, it may be braids or it may be vintage, which I love, and that's what I specialize in. But the thing is that whenever they go, they're always going to learn. No matter how many times they come to you, they're always going to learn something new because you're always pushing yourself to be better, to compete with yourself. So one thing that we probably want to know is, what will you be teaching your students on this cruise?
Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I've begun to take the best of the best. I looked very carefully over the course of the year that was over the Vintage Vault and the Brides and Braids Bootcamp, and I've taken precisely the most wow-factored hairstyles of that year and what I've currently got in my mind. So I've got a couple of new ones in store as well that I've been practicing. Like right now, I actually have someone in the chair who's just comes with me once a week, and I get to practice on her once a week, things that come to mind.
Awesome.
But I really watched the students' reactions to some of the demonstrations, and also got a real big thrill out of making sure that they could execute what I showed them. I really like to teach. I show a technique, and then I feel like I want that hairstylist to show me what they can do with that technique. Like, don't be a direct copy of what I just showed you, because you're not learning much. You're just learning a technique. You're copying what I'm doing. And I don't mind that, because people like to be able to recreate something, but I want them to go that one step further and create something using the technique that I'm showing and make it into your own. When you, in fact, Brad, when you, just something on you now, when you tagged me in the video or photo of the vintage rolls that you did at the side there, those in the front there, that blew my mind. So, you know, the power of the social media and having admiration for one another is a fabulous, it's a fabulous thing for the industry, and I'm just loving it. So the cruise curriculum, it will be whatever I feel like on the day, but it will definitely be about what I remember from each and every single one of the classes that I've done in all the different states of Australia and all across New Zealand and the US. And I'll just remember the ones that got the biggest reaction, and they're the ones that I want to teach on.
Yeah, because I know whatever you come up with is going to be simply amazing. Because another thing I tagged you in was the nape highlight, which I absolutely love. And that technique I use over and over and over again. And I still like, how can I tweak this a little bit more, you know, to make it? And the result is incredible. I tagged you in my photos, and those are real photos. They're not retouched. They're like no filter. They're like, you know, they do that. But speaking of color, on color day, you're not teaching, you know, you're gonna teach something about color. And I know there's a ponytail involved, and I know there's an ombre involved. So you can tell us a little bit more about that.
All right. Well, right now you just this is the drug that I thrive on, right? You just gave me those goosebumps that you can't see on Skype, but you just gave me some goosebumps.
I know, I have them too. I have them too.
Yeah. Well, when you tag me and stuff like that, and I like to share something that works for me, I'll never keep it to myself, because I put out there, if anyone can come up with a great name for this technique, I'll send them a whole package of white sands that I've got in my storage area.
Oh, and I have the whole line.
And you do.
White
you do.
sands.
But
Of
Ruby,
white sands.
it was Ruby that actually came up with it, and so she called it the nape highlights, and that's where I got that nickname from, Nene. So that technique works really well, and I may even incorporate that into the pigtail ombre on colour day. I'm unsure. I'll just wait and see what the setup is like, because I know what I want to show, and if there's time and it works, I would like to show the technique that you were just getting excited about that works so well for you as well. And the pigtail ombre it's not replacing anything that's going on at the moment. You know, it's not replacing hair painting. It's not replacing foil highlights. It's just something that's new, that's flawless. It's great for someone, for a stylist who's maybe a little bit timid in getting the blend, because that's a tough thing, you know. That's a big ask to get something that's really dark to really light with the transition that doesn't show.
Have the line straight around. Yeah,
exactly
as well. You know.
Absolutely. You can have the best equipment, you can have the most amazing brushes with the finest little feathers, and you can still mess it up. So, you know, I would really like to bring, what I'm looking for is, okay, I'm going to show a technique, but what I'm looking for is for the hairstylist to go, holy cow, I can do this. And this is going to be my weapon of choice. When I have a client, I should have done this last Thursday. This would have worked great on her. And you can still charge the same amount, And I would like
Hmm.
the hairstylist to go with the consultation, go to their color cupboard, come back to their client, and with conviction, get the end result and get paid and get rebooked.
Hmm. Yeah,
And then beyond
exactly,
that,
exactly.
get referrals and the chain process begins again.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing with a lot of those the people or hairdressers think everybody, or with social media think everybody's so much better than I am. Everybody's so much, but you don't really need to compete with them. Compete with yourself in your own town. If you do a ponytail ombre and no one else does, or you
yeah,
do the nene highlights and no one else does, people are
yeah,
going to come to you because you become the expert in that. In my mind, it's constantly going. And when you're saying nape and ponytail, my mind is already going, and I've got all these fusion techniques already happening.
absolutely.
In,
Absolutely.
in my mind as well. But so when you're teaching, who would be your ideal student to take your class?
All right. Well, this, I don't know how this is going to come across, but those of you who know, but for those who are watching and that know me, know that this is said with absolute love in my heart. The ego has to stay at the door, but you got to put on your creative shoes and just have fun. Like, bring that open mind, because the ego side of things will actually weigh you down a little bit. Just come with an open mind. Don't look around the room and size anybody up with you. We're all there for the same reason. Even if there'll be someone that'll get this much out of the class, there'll be someone that gets this much out of the class, depending on either A, their comprehension, or two, their open-mindedness. And that's the difference.
Yes.
And if they're not comprehending what I'm teaching, then I'm not doing my job properly. So
Hmm.
I want to make sure that everybody is understanding, they accept it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't like it. Not everybody
Yeah.
likes to use a hair straightener in the salon, a flat iron. They like to do the blow
Yes.
wave. But I like to sell products, so I actually like selling the flat iron that I have. So,
Yes.
there's,
Awesome. Yeah.
I actually like to cater to every type of personality. The only one that is not going to get anything out of the class is someone that comes really close-minded and with the arms folded and then you're not really open to wanting to learn. I've never had that, by the way, but that's not
Mhm.
my ideal student. So that narrows it down, because then everybody else is my
Yes.
ideal student. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you also have to be willing to learn and to create. Like you say, you show them the technique, but it's their creativity that takes that braid or